Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Now, I want to pop in and talk about this because this is, as you know, a very, very important topic. And y'all forgive me because sometimes I get to talking a little long. And in these hour sessions, it may run over a little bit. So I got to kick back and relax. So y'all forgive me. And I'm a little short down here too. But we having us a good little talk. And get your notebook. If you don't have your notebook, get you one so you can pause this and take you some notes as well when we having these discussions. This week I'm gonna try to do one Monday through Friday, touching on some topics and that's important in love and relationships. And so today I want to talk to you about love versus just attachment. A lot of times I feel like we kind of get to this place to where we can be attached but not really be in love. I have a quote that went viral that says, you didn't fall in love, you fell in love with the idea of love. A lot of times we think about being in a relationship, having a house with a white picket fence, a dog and a boy and a girl, and that dream will take over. It permeates our soul and we want that more than anything. And we will get in a relationship and get with somebody that doesn't really love us, or we don't even really fully love them, but it checks off that box. You get to go on Facebook, you get to change that status, and you change that status to in a relationship. You get to hear all them congrats. Oh, congrats, congrats, congrats. Your haters congratulate you. And now you get to see people eat crow, chew crud, whatever you want to call it. People who you know don't like you, jealous of you, but they still your Facebook friend. They got to swallow their pride and say, congratulations. I see that you're in a relationship. Then you get to take you a trip. Even though you booked it on Expedia or cheapcaribbean.com and it costs $1.50 to get to Punta Cana, you there, and people get to look at you on Facebook and say, ooh, they traveling. You in Jamaica on Dunn's Rivers Falls with your boo. And at night in the hotel, y'all fighting like cats and dogs. You feel belittled, you feel unappreciated, you feel disrespected, you feel tried, you feel used, you feel abused. You could feel a myriad of feelings and different things that you feel over the course of the relationship, but because all eyes are on you, so you think, because of your Facebook status, you like, I don't want to give up on it. And then you take and you misappropriate people's stories to your story. And you say, well, Tony Gaskins and his wife broke up in dating. They broke up again in marriage, and look at them today. What if God got the same thing for me and my person? So then you endure a whole lot of things that myself or nor my wife have ever endured, but yet you subscribe it to that and say, well, they went through stuff, I got to go through stuff. And now you're in this relationship where you are attached. You're attached, you're addicted. Now, what I really call it is it love or is it addiction? Because what you have to realize is the way the brain works is there's a chemical release whenever you have some stimuli, when something happens, when you perceive something, receive something, experience something, feel something, go through something, there is some stimuli, that stimuli, and that stimulant has a response. And so your brain will release a chemical into your bloodstream, be it dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, cortisol. You get a release. And every time you get that release, your body, your chemistry starts to be altered. And your body starts to become more and more used to that chemical release. And whatever it is, it could be adrenaline, a good argument. I don't know if you've ever noticed if you're a woman or if you're a man, but a lot of times in an argument, men get an erection. And that is because of the blood flow. That's because of that blood flow and all of that release, it starts to flow. And then because of that tension, because of that interaction, because of seeing that woman give energy and passion into that argument, it can give a man an erection, and it will do it against our will. Now, I'm not a woman, so I don't know if a woman has a physical reaction in her pants or on her chest or whatever part of the body that could be stimulated. But if you think about certain movies that you may have watched, I've seen movies where the couple is like arguing or like fighting, and then it just turns into rough and passionate love making. It's really sex. And I was just watching a movie not long ago. I can't remember if it was, I think it was a James Brown movie, on the airplane. And his mom got in like this real toxic relationship with his dad. And the next thing you know, they were doing the nasty. And it's like, whoa, how y'all go from about to kill each other to doing the nasty? But that was just a depiction of how that passion and how that works. And so a lot of people are building and forming an attachment and an addiction and not actually love, and cannot tell the difference between the two. And it's a fine line, and it becomes very hard to read, because that attachment will feel like love, because in an attachment, if you try to detach, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't think, you can't work, you can't live, you can't breathe, you can't focus. And so you tell yourself, this has to be love. I'm thinking about this person that much. This has to be love. But yeah, your stomach is hurting, your head is hurting. But think about it. If you have a certain amount of sugar every day, if you have a certain amount of caffeine every day, certain amount of marijuana, nicotine, phone usage, social media, reality TV, think about it. You need that every day. Whatever it is that you feed your brain every day, be it good or bad, you start to lose it if you don't have it. So I want you to think about it. Really think about it. And you start to get to a place to where you like, now let's look at it on the positive side. Some people walk every day. They run every day. It's people that run 3 miles every day, 5 miles every day. They can't function without running. Whenever I go on vacation, anytime I go on vacation, the gym, I go in the gym to look around. I don't go in there to work out. The gym is full of people working out on vacation. And I'm like, you need to work out that bad that you can't take a few days off? You over here 3 days, 4 days, 7 days. You got to go to the gym? Like, do you need the gym that bad? But it's because of the routine that they have created. So now they are attached to that thing, whatever that may be, a substance, or action, or exercise, and engagement. And this is how we so easily are confused. This is how we get tricked to be in an attachment instead of in love. Now, what is the difference? And I want you to think about this, and as you begin to process this and you begin to think about it, I want you to think about, and you start to get to this place to where you look at and say, okay, what is the difference between love and emotional dependency? Now, yesterday we talked about emotional security, but you got to think about emotional dependency. Love is pure. Love is fulfilling. Love is freeing. Love brings peace, happiness, and joy. Love makes you want it. Love makes you want to be there. You want to be a part of it. You want to have it. You look forward to it. Love is different. Love produces action. You want to serve your partner. You want to touch your partner, hug your partner, kiss your partner, make love to your partner, cook for your partner, clean for your partner. Whatever it is, love induces action. It is something that is different. Emotional dependency is where you need this person to feel regulated, to feel stabilized, to feel worthy, to feel alive like a human. You will rather be with them screaming, yelling, fussing, fighting, arguing, beating on them or being beat on than to be alone. You would rather be in pain than to be alone. You would rather them be cheating on you but coming home to you than to be alone. You would rather them curse you out, yell at you verbally, physically, emotionally, socially, financially, abuse you than for you to be alone. You rather go through hell on earth than to have to change your Facebook status back to single from in a relationship, engaged, or married. You would rather be in this toxic relationship than to go through a divorce and have to answer to all of your friends, family, co-workers, spectators, and haters about your divorce. You rather put up with what you got to put up with. You see what the Navy SEALs go through. You see what the Marines go through. You see what battered and abused women and men go through. You see what people who lose loved ones go through, and you realize that the resilience of a human is second to none, that it is beyond this world. It is above and beyond, and you know that you can go through a whole lot. And guess what? You will rather go through it. Y'all forgive me, I'm back. You will rather go through all of that than to have to raise them kids alone, or to have to pay rent or mortgage alone. You going through, you stressing, you struggling, you crying, you hurting, you upset. Everything is going wrong, but you look and you say, if I have to pay all of these bills, this whole $2,000 a month for my rent or mortgage, this whole car note, the lights, the water, utility, gas, whatever, all you got to do, car insurance, life insurance, link in the description for your life insurance. Get you some now. For Lord call you home, how we gonna bury you? If Lord call you home, how we gonna bury you? Do you got a savings? Click the link in the description. Get on the calendar, 1322 agency. And you'll stay there. You'll stay in that relationship because you don't want to have to pay all the bills by yourself. You don't want to have to raise the kids by yourself. That is emotional dependency. And also, if it's money related, that's financial dependency. Remember the maturity continuum. Dependent, that's when you're a child. Independent, that's supposed to be when you're an adult. Interdependent is supposed to be when you get married. A lot of people are emotionally dependent. Like, You just need you need a warm body. You don't want to sleep alone. You don't want to ride alone. You rather ride and fuss and fight and argue, slap and punch each other than to have to ride alone. You rather fuss and fight and argue and cry on your pillow just to have somebody on the other pillow than to sleep alone. That is emotional dependency. See, emotional dependency produces anxiety, worry, stress, frustration, anger, fear, desperation. See, emotional dependency is killing you. It's not stabilizing you. It's not helping you. It's not making you healthy. It's killing you. It's killing you because you are releasing cortisol into your bloodstream every day. I read an article that said people who have a constant release of cortisol are more likely to die early by natural causes than people who are at peace. And it said the average age of people who have like a cortisol dump every day, like all day, and have they worries and fears and trauma and pain on a loop in their brain. It was talking about people who, when they go through something that's upsetting or traumatizing, that they think about it and they play it over and over and over and over and over. And I'm one of those type of people. So I have to create peace. When I read that article, it changed my life. I said, I'm gonna start worrying. I'm gonna start worrying. Like today is a day that could trigger trauma. You know, for me, it's a lot of days that things happen and it could trigger some trauma, and I have to ignore it. I gotta move around. I gotta do something. I gotta do what I gotta do. And it said that the average age of those people is 56 years old. This thing real. This thing is real. And so imagine, and then think about that. How many people that happens to. I remember around that, you know, it was older than 56, but I done seen a lot of people die as soon as they retire from work. And they got to be at home in that relationship every day without getting that 8 to 12 hour distance and separation from that relationship. When they trauma got to be triggered all day, every day. It's so many people that if one of the person was traveling for work and then that travel changes, all they do is fuss and fight. And so you have to realize and understand that emotional dependency is when you're not actually happy in the relationship. You're not actually happy with the person you're with, but you can't find the strength or the reasoning to leave. You are emotionally dependent. You're not emotionally secure. You are emotionally dependent. And that is not love. And a lot of times we confuse it with love because we can't leave, or that we don't want to leave, or we can't find a reason to leave. We can't justify leaving. So we say, oh, it must be love. No, that ain't love. Unfortunately, that's not love. And now here you are, you making excuses for why you should stay. And a lot of times people look and say, oh, I'm gonna stay for the kids. So I'm gonna stay for the kids. So if your person make that much money to where they can help with the kid, that means that child support gonna be nice. If they make enough money to pay all the bills, that child support gonna be lovely. And then you go out, you get a job, you work on your own. I just was talking to a client who made $360,000 a year. She's a single woman. I coached another client, I believe it was last week, who earns $450,000, single woman. Coach another client who earned $420 or something like that before, you know, taxes and all of that, come out to $325, single woman. I coach a lot of single women who are earning 6 figures and some high 6 figures. It's jobs out there. Now, yes, the one young lady is a software engineer or something like that. The other is a doctor. The other is a anesthesiologists or something, radiologists. You know, yeah, these some real jobs now. But look at that. So it's like it's jobs out here to where you can earn. So if you stand in a relationship because somebody helping you with the bills, you got to get on your grind. You could join my life insurance agency, start writing you some policies for all your friends and family, and then helping with the policies, you know, for my supporters online, start making you some money, make you some extra money to get out that relationship. Don't feel trapped and like, oh, I got to stay, you know, I can't leave. This is just something I got to do. This is just my life. This is where I'm at and all of that. You have to realize that you can be in a relationship, whether you're single right now, you're gonna be in a relationship, or whether you're in a relationship, you can be in a relationship and you can form a trauma bond and mistake it for love. And a lot of people don't realize that they have trauma bonds. And I never forget when I heard the story of this science experiment, and they had like I don't know if it was like a monkey or whatever it was they were talking about, and they said that they had the monkey in the cage with his mom, and it would just be holding on mom, holding on mom, holding on mom, and just up under mom, like, because it was in the cage, it was in this place, you know, I'm guessing it felt either cold or afraid or whatever, unsure, and so it was just hugging on mom, hugging on mom. They took mom out of the cage and they replaced mom with like a stuffed animal, like a remake of mom, but they put inside of mom, all throughout the arms and all over the body, little like needles, like little needles, things that would prick the baby. And they said that the baby still hugged onto mom, even though it was being stabbed, even though it was being poked and pricked by the little needles or whatever it was, like basically like little porcupine type things or whatever they put in there. And you might could Google it in a certain kind of way and pull it up. But I'll never forget when I read that, I'm like, and they were saying that even though it was being hurt, it still stuck by its mother and would cling to its mother, what it thought was its mother, or the image of its mother. And now those little needles causing trauma, causing pain. But that monkey would rather be in pain than to feel alone, than to feel abandoned. And we as humans, we do the same thing. When we think about being alone, when we think about being abandoned, if you have childhood trauma where your dad left you when you were 2, 3, 6, 8, 10, or your mom left you 2, 3, 6, 8, 10, that caused trauma. And you started to feel abandoned. You started to feel unwanted and unloved. You became unsure of life, of family, of love, of yourself. And you started to wonder, like, why am I not good enough? Why doesn't my mom or my dad or my ex-boyfriend, my ex-girlfriend, my ex-husband, my ex-wife, why don't they love me? Why don't they want to be in my life? Why don't they want to be around me? And that feeling becomes so painful that when you get into a relationship and you're made to feel less than, and you're made to feel like everything you do is wrong, but yet you think of the alternative of being left and being left alone, you start to say, I would rather be in this relationship because this person sleeping with me, going to bed with me, being around me, this is this person choosing me. They're choosing to love me. They're choosing to be here for me. They're choosing to be around me. Although they don't like me, although they're mad at me, although they talk down to me, although they mistreat me, although they are a complete opposite of me, although it seems like they're unhappy with me, but they're choosing me every single day to be with me. And I would rather them continue to hurt me and choose me than to leave me how my mother or my father or my ex did. And that, my friend, is a trauma bond. You have had trauma, and now with this person, they have had trauma, and the two of you are bonded together to feed into or try to mask your trauma. Y'all have a trauma bond, where a trauma bond could be where two people who have trauma bond, or you have trauma in that relationship and you bond. And so, and then because without them, when y'all break up for the 3 days, the 3 months, the 6 months, because you can't stop thinking about them, you say, oh, that is love. That's a trauma bond. What is the root of the feeling? Is it fear? Is it worry? Is it stress? Is it pain? Is it anger? Is it anxiety? Is it jealousy? Is it insecurity? If the root is anything other than self-love, it's a trauma bond. If you are in the relationship and you're being held hostage in that relationship by yourself, not by them now, but you're being held hostage in that relationship by a feeling, that's a trauma bond. Because the only feeling that you should have and be operating from is self-love. Meaning your preservation, your safety, your security, your health, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, financial, whatever it is, your health and wellness. If you're being held in that relationship by yourself or by your partner from any negative space, that's a trauma bond. And you got to realize that, you got to understand that, and you have to break that up. You got to look and say, okay, hold on now. I'm not staying because I'm deeply in love and because I want to eat this person alive. When I say that, I'm saying it in a good way now. I ain't talking about Hannibal Lecter. I'm not in this because I'm just head over heels and I'm so excited to come home every day and I'm so ready to put my phone down and just laugh and talk and chill with my partner. I'm in this because I'm afraid of what's on the other side. I'm afraid to leave and attract worse. I'm afraid to leave this, start all over, and the same thing happen again. That's why I'm in this. That's why I'm staying here. See, you got to be real with you. You got to keep peeling back those layers of that old onion until where you really get down to the bottom of it. You got to get to the bottom of it to where you can say, hold on, now what we got going on here? What's really good now? Is this love or is this a trauma bond? Am I getting high off of this interaction and engagement of these arguments? Is this furniture moving becoming my action movie? Is this arguing and yelling and fussing and fighting my new entertainment? Am I getting off on this energy exchange? You got to be real. You got to be real. And it ain't going to be easy now. It's not going to be easy. You ain't going to be able to, you're going to have to look and you have to really think, ooh, I don't know now. What's really the cause of this? Where am I really operating from? And when you start to get there, then you start to realize, and you start to say, okay, this is an unhealthy attachment style. Now, I'm not talking about the attachment styles like what y'all be talking about, because I don't know anything about those. I haven't read them or studied them. But I'm just talking in general. I'm gonna make up my own type of attachment styles. So, and then it may have a name for it from the actual attachment styles that y'all be talking about. I never read about it. See, I teach from the Holy Spirit. I don't read people books and teach from what they talking about, but we may teach the same things, and that may be because both of us talking to the same source. So a lot of times you may hear me say something and say, oh, Tony read this book such and such. No, I've never read that book. I've never read a relationship book, period. The only relationship book I done read is the Holy Bible. So anything I teach, I may use a popular term from social media, but I don't even Google and read the definition of the popular terms that we use. I just use that word because it sounds familiar, but I just make it make sense to me. So I want you to understand that. So when you think about this, let's say you have an attachment style that comes from having a fear of being alone, and you're just afraid of the world. You're scared. You feel vulnerable. You feel like you can be attacked, like you could be robbed, you could be raped, you could be cheated, you could be dogged out, you could be killed, and you just fear being alone. You're just very afraid of the world, and you don't want to be alone. And that right there is like, let me stay with this person. That's an unhealthy attachment style. If you are attached to your partner because of the perceived envy or jealousy or attention from other people, to where you get to feel like you're worthy or you're somebody, or like you are an idol or a desire or a hope, or people are jealous of you or looking up to you because you have a relationship, and that's why you remaining attached to this person. That's an unhealthy attachment style. If you are attached to this person because you fear retaliation and what they will do to you if you leave, that's an unhealthy attachment style. So what you got to realize now, these attachment styles that I'm talking about could be rooted in a myriad of different feelings, thoughts, experiences. And so you got to look at all the possible thoughts, feelings, and experiences, and you got to say to yourself, okay, all right, what do we have here? Is this a situation where we are in this relationship because of this root cause, and this root cause is coming from an unhealthy place, and so therefore I'm staying in this relationship? If that's the answer, it's an unhealthy attachment style. Now, I know y'all are so beholden to the terminologies that someone else has created, but I want you to challenge yourself, and I want you to come up with a name, a different name for an unhealthy attachment style that describes yourself or someone you know personally. And come up with that name of like fear attachment style. I'm just throwing something out. Fear, anxiety attachment style, loneliness attachment style. You know, Come up with you a name. You could get in your dictionary and break outside of what's already been described, because you might be slightly different. Your situation might be slightly different. Economic fear attachment style, financial stability attachment style, whatever it may be, scarcity attachment style, and just get to the root of it. What you're trying to do is get to the root to identify, is your attachment style healthy or unhealthy? Because on the flip side, let's say you have a reciprocal attachment style, that's healthy. A mutual attachment style, that's healthy. A peace-oriented attachment style, that's healthy. I'm just making up terms now. But if you want to be attached to someone because they bring joy, peace, happiness, love, laughter, that's a healthy attachment style. You are attached to the pure and the positive and the healthy. And with that attachment, you are in a place where you feel good. You feel good. You feel at peace because of what you have. You're feeling amazing because you're looking and you're saying, okay, this right here is something that's happy and healthy and whole. Like, I feel excited. Like, I'm not stressed. I don't have to sit and woosah. I don't have to go into no deep intercessory prayer to go around my partner. I'm able to be at peace. I'm excited to clock out and to go home to my partner. That right there is a healthy attachment style. And so you got to get to the root of it. Now, when you struggle being alone, from being away, not alone, being away from your partner, like when you can't when you can't focus, when you are stressed, when you worried, that is a unhealthy attachment style. Your partner should be able to go away on business, go away on a girl's trip, on a guy's trip, and you be just fine. You be clicking on all cylinders. You doing what you need to do. You taking care of business. You getting stuff done because they gone. So you're not shutting everything down. You got to be able to work in the midst of. Like, you can't be codependent. So like right now, I'm sitting in the office. All alone. I'm in the office all alone. I ain't even got my light on. I'm up here working. I think about my wife. Don't know if you seen my lunchbox. She came up here and brought me lunch. Had me a hamburger patty she made me last night. Had me some tater tots in there, some lettuce and tomato, ketchup and mustard, no bun. Had tater tots though, so still a little carb. Had a banana. Got me some made good, and I got me some thing, and she brought me an iced vanilla caramel latte or whatever it was. And so I say that to say, we seen each other. She was in here 5 minutes. She came, dropped it off. Hey, I got to go, because if I take too much time, I ain't gonna finish doing my work. And so she at the house working, cleaning up the house, doing everything. I'm up here working, doing what I got to do. Yesterday I worked from home. Some days I don't want to leave home and I want to stay home so I could be close to my wife. And if that's all I could do, it would be an unhealthy attachment style. But because I could do both, and then she getting ready to leave and go out of town, and so she gonna book some flights to go out of town, and she going on a trip with Tatum and then coming back. And I'm gonna be home, and I got a meeting with one of my players and his mom and an agency. So while she out of town, living life, doing her thing, I'm gonna be home handling business. She doing her, I'm doing me. That's a healthy attachment style. See, when you come together, you are interdependent. But what you have to understand is interdependent is independent and dependent combined. You're interdependent. So meaning my wife depends on me to get up and go to work, and I depend on her to be the CEO of home. So we're dependent upon each other, but we're also independent, and we can go and handle our own task. So it doesn't make us codependent, nor does it make us dependent, nor does it make us emotionally dependent. It makes us interdependent. When you can be independent and do your independent work, what you need to do, but then you can come together and you can complement one another and be a team when you need to complement each other and be a team, which means you are then interdependent. And so this is what I want you to realize and understand. And you have to be able to, in a relationship, you got to be able to reclaim your identity and your personal power. I think that was the personal power might have been in the subtitle of my book, A Woman's Influence. If you are a woman, even if you're a man, you need to read A Woman's Influence. It's on Amazon. So go get that today, A Woman's Influence, and read that and get that in your spirit. You have to reclaim your identity, meaning you need to be able to go to the store by yourself. You need to be able to go on a same gender trip, guys trip, girls trip. You need to be able to go into the office and work by yourself. You need to be able to sleep alone. You need to be able to go to the gym and work out alone, go to the grocery store and shop alone. You need to be able to get on a call with a therapist or a life coach alone. You have to reclaim your identity. You have to be you and know who you are. You got to have an identity outside of your relationship, outside of your partner. If you never want to go on guys' nights or girls' nights, that's unhealthy. You need some same-sex interaction, same gender, for y'all take that the wrong way. You need some same gender friendships and interaction. You need to be able to woosah, let go, and go hang out without your partner. If you only want to be with your partner all the time, that is a unhealthy attachment style. You are codependent, and you operating from fear. You fear that if you go out with your folks, with your friends, that your partner gonna be back home on the phone with their ex, or watching porn, or touching on themselves, or doing something inappropriate, and so you don't want to leave unless you absolutely have to. Oh yeah, it's a lot of people that's like that. So you don't want to go nowhere. If you go on a trip with the guys or the girls, you fear that your person gonna be back home meeting up, linking up with a sneaky link. You fear that they're gonna turn their location off and you can't see where they at. So you don't want to leave the country, you don't want to leave the state, you don't want to leave the city because you worried. You worried about what they'll do. You worried about them taking and doing something that you don't approve of. And so therefore you have no identity. Your identity is wrapped up in them. And you got to be able to recognize and realize when your identity is your relationship, and you have no alone time, you have no free time. Like, you got to be able to break free and do you. And you gotta extend the same grace, love, support to your partner. You should be able to take a solo trip to get closer to you, to get to know you without any funny business, not watching porn, not touching yourself, not out at the bar flirting and meeting new people, but to just be in touch with you. And when you do that for 2 nights or 3 nights, it could be a staycation at a nice downtown hotel in your same city. After you do that this weekend, next weekend, tell your partner to do the same thing. I don't want to do that. That serves no purpose to me. I know myself. I love myself. I don't have to go to a hotel to get to know myself. I don't have to be alone. I'm okay being here. I don't need to do that. That's what you need. I don't need that. No, listen, this is an exercise that we both doing. That's very important. That a lot of times we don't realize how the childhood trauma is showing up in adulthood, but we writing it off as I'm normal, I'm fine. I don't need that. But if you find, then you'll be able to do it. If you find, then you'll be able to be alone. You'll be able to be as a couple. You'll be able to be as a group. Because no matter what, you got you. You at peace with you. You could do all three: group, couple, alone. That is when you know you healthy. That's when you know you at peace. That's when you know, when you could do all three of those and be present, be where your feet are, as somebody came up with that quote, genius little saying. When you could do that, that's when you know, oh, I'm ready. Oh yeah, I'm ready. Oh, I'm where I need to be. Oh yeah, I'm good and healthy. Cause I could do this right here. And that's where you need to get to. And if you can't get there, oh, you got a problem. You got an issue on your hand when you can't be in all three of those states. Because remember, dependent, independent, interdependent. Dependent, independent, interdependent. The maturity continuum. I believe I got that from Stephen R. Covey. And that thing hit me. I'm like, whoa, okay, nah, all right. A lot of people get stuck in independent. A lot of people, men and women, but mostly women. Because when a woman is forced by life to be independent, it's hard for her to flip that switch and now be interdependent and allow a man to pay the bills, allow a man to pay for dinner, allow a man to carry the heavy item that just was bought at the store, allow a man to do this, do that, open the tight jar, put up the high item, lift the heavy item. A lot of women struggle with that. Struggle with asking for what she needs. Struggle with asking that her body be pleased in addition to his body being pleased. That her favorite meal be made in addition to his favorite meal be made. That she gets to choose the outing sometimes in addition to him choosing the outing. That she gets to plan the travel or the vacation in addition to him planning the travel or vacation. That she has a mind, that she has a voice, that she is being heard, she is being seen, she is being felt, that she is valued. And it could be he too. You could invert it. I'm just for the sake of clarity and focus using one gender in that sequence. But I want you to think about that and really get to the place to where you processing and you realizing and you understanding and you able to look and say, okay, this required some intentionality. This required reclaiming my personal power, reclaiming my identity. And you got to be intentional. You have got to be intentional. It is not going to be easy. You are going to struggle with it. And you got to be able to come to that place to where you can make that decision and you can make that happen, because it's not going to be comfortable. Like, you're going to get to a place to where you got to be able to do what needs to be done. So I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it and be able to process and realize that the work has to be done. The work has to be done. And what you have to do, if you find yourself, you're in a situation where you have a trauma bond and you want to transform, you want to be able to transition and transition your relationship from a trauma bond to a healthy bond, what you're going to have to do is you're gonna have to put some rules in place. You're gonna have to set boundaries, and you're gonna have to create some freedom in your relationship. So what I mean by that is you have to go from arguing to discussing. When you argue, you're irate, you're inconsiderate, you're yelling, you're out of touch, you're out of place. When you're discussing, you cool, calm, collected, you controlled. Both people are taking turns talking. Neither of you are yelling, cursing, name calling, any of that. You cool, calm, and collected. So now that you're in that space, you can have a discussion. When you're name calling, yelling, hollering, standing up, throwing your hand, throwing your neck, throwing stuff, all of that, you are arguing. So you have to put rules in place. No arguing, only discussing. No yelling, no cursing, no name calling, no storming off. Asking, can we come back to this later? Can we address this tomorrow? That's different than just walking off, just storming off and inciting someone and making them want to grab you or chase you because you cutting them off in the middle of their sentence and you walking out. You turning your back on them. That's disrespectful. That's triggering. That's manipulation. That's control. And so when you get to the place to where you can handle conflict with the proper resolution, now you're growing and you're transitioning from a trauma bond to a healthy bond. Another thing what you want to do is you need alone time, whether that's prayer, meditation, supplication, Pilates, gym, whatever it is, you need alone time. You need alone time every week. Your partner needs alone time every week. That allows you both to respect one another's space, to respect one another's identity and individuality. It gives you time to think and process and clear your mind, and that'll help you overall in that process. So you have to be able to get to that place where you can transition from a trauma bond to a healthy bond by creating individual time, space, and freedom. And not only do you need alone time, you need friend time, where you can talk about what guys talk about or what women talk about. You need that alone time with your friends where you can have those deep conversations or those whatever, chill, clowning, facetious conversations, whatever it may be. You need that time, and you need to be able to take that time and do that without cutting yourself short and doing the opposite. You need to be able to show up and show that you're willing to create that time and space for you and your friends. You need to be able to have a full-fledged relationship with your loved ones, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your uncle, your aunt. A lot of times in a trauma bonded relationship, we cut off our family. We cut off our friends, and it just becomes us and our partner. And we don't have a relationship with our friends and family. And we get very distant from them, and we retreat to this island, to this relationship island, and not love island, to this relationship island between us and our partner, and we box everybody else out. It's different if everybody is toxic and dramaful, but if they're not toxic and dramaful, then there's no reason they should be being cut off. That is a trauma bond where you want one person and you want them all to yourself, and you want them to be your life. You want them to be your oxygen. You want them to be your every little thing. You have to have friends. You got to have family. You got to have a confidant or somebody you know, love, and trust. It doesn't have to be talking about your relationship. It could be talking about business. It could be talking about your body, your health and wellness. It could be about whatever, but you need someone you can confide in outside of your partner. And you need that time, space, and freedom. And if you do that, now you come into a place to where you're able to be healthy and happy and whole in your relationship. And you get to minimize and break free from a trauma bond, and now you get to maximize and build a healthy bond. So this is what I want you to realize and understand, and really come to that place and start to seek wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and clarity on what exactly do you have. Do you have a trauma bond, or do you have love? Like, where are you operating from? Are you codependent, or are you interdependent? Can you be independent as well as being interdependent? If the answer is yes, then you're doing the right thing. So I want you to think about this. Really get this in your heart and mind. Really start to process this and come to that place, that place where you have to be real. And you got to be able to look and see, is this possible? To go from just attachment or addiction to actual love. If it's not possible, you have to find the strength, create the strength to walk away, knowing that through your healing, your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you're going to attract real love. And that's how it's going to happen for you. So get that through your heart and mind. All the important links is in the description. Get on over there, Tony Gaskins Academy. Next weekend, we're doing the 3Bs conference. It's a virtual conference. I'll be teaching it. May have some guest speakers as well. Virtual conference, 25th through the 27th. When you go on TonyGaskinsAcademy.com, you'll see 3Bs, virtual conference or online seminar, whatever it'll say. And when you click the payment button, you'll see it's $97. When you click that down arrow, you'll see $147. $147 is the VIP, so you get included to our Friday night networking and introduction session, which that is only for VIPs. And then also VIPs, you get to ask questions throughout the Saturday full day curriculum. So we're gonna have a full day curriculum on Saturday, and that's where we may have some other speakers in there, just depending on their schedule. And sometimes they be on it, then some last minute happen, headache, stomach ache, blase. But we're really gonna do us a deep dive. We're gonna have Q&A on there. You'll be eligible, of course, to book one-on-one sessions after that, because I'm closing my sessions. But to the blessed, I was about to say blessed tribe, but to the 3Bs attendees, you'll be able to be eligible for a session or a block of sessions or different types of sessions, coming in, spending the day with me, learning, building, growing, us working on your business or life, love, and business. You know, you come up here to the office, fly in, and we sit down and we just do a deep dive. I bring over my whiteboard, we get on the board, and we do what we got to do. Being a ticket holder of the conference makes you eligible for that premium upgrade, and we'll just work. We'll work and we'll make it happen. And also, still have the opportunity. Now I'm building with my insurance agency. I'm putting new agents on my agents' teams, and we building. And so if you don't have a life insurance policy, something that's helping you build generational wealth or build wealth for yourself, something that you could pull from it later as your own bank, then make sure you click the link in the description to get a free consult. And then on that free consult to get insurance, if you want to become an insurance agent, make sure you let the person know, so that my agent knows to, put you into those next steps and get you going. And I want to say shout out to the subscribers, the Blessed Tribe, and the Blessed Business Tribe, the Patreon, and all of my donors of Tony Gaskins Family Foundation. We got a trip coming up with the boys program here either late next week or early the week after, where we're gonna be going to a college, Lord willing. And we're gonna make that happen, get to go down and visit the college and see what they can see and embrace that right there. So thank you so much for your support, because you helping all of this happen. That link is in the description as well. And yeah, y'all listen, don't just listen to the video, listen to my last little part too now, because if you made it this far, God bless you. Put I made it in the comments, so I know that you made it, so I know how many people is watching to the end. That'll let me know whether it's worth teaching this deep, or if I need to do shallow and basic type of stuff to where we're not really learning and growing. But God bless you. I appreciate you. and different topics and questions y'all have, feel free to put that in the comment section, or you can email it in to me. And if I have some inspiration on it, or God give me something on it, then I'll do it. God bless you, and we'll talk soon.